the West, it's Sarah Galashewski here with John Gomez from the Somerset.
Yo!
I was wondering, how has Warped Tour been so far?
It's been fun. It's kind of like a circus every day. Tear down every night, set up every day, everything's in a new place. The schedule's different, you play at a different time. It's wild. It's like summer camp kind of.
Considering like all those stages are in different places every day, is it ever hard to find your merch tent or your stage?
Yeah. Oh, every day. I don't know how kids who come to the shows find anything, because I can't find anything every day, and I'm here every day.
Yeah. Any crazy experiences on the tour?
I'd have to say the craziest so far was getting into a little bit of a fight with Justin from Rocket to the Moon, and me with the sheriff in Long Island over a game of beer pong.
Oh, I heard about that, yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the craziest thing ever. He wouldn't let us leave this little VIP tent with the beer pong balls that we borrowed from Mayday Parade, and started getting in our faces and stuff, and then finally pushed me to the ground. I did not know that could happen.
Yeah. You recently released a video for The Boys Who Do Get Back at You. What was it like filming it?
It was awesome. We originally wrote like the whole treatment, whole storyline of the video. So we felt really kind of connected, and had a really personal feeling with the video, since it was our idea originally.
Yeah.
So when we did it, it was just really fun. I was like seeing our idea and all the funny ideas we had, thinking about it, kind of come to life.
Yeah. Did you think of the concept of the video for Chelsea too, or was that somebody else?
Chelsea was a mixture of our director and a little bit of our input, but Chelsea was a little bit more led by our director, and then once we had this idea, we decided to go back to the same director who did Chelsea, because he's just really open to our ideas and really easy to work with. So we brought him this idea, and he loved it, and then kind of adapted it.
Oh, that's cool. For Punko's Classic Rock, you covered Rock and Roll All Night. What was it like covering such a classic song?
It was weird, because everything I remember the song being when we chose it completely changed once I heard it again.
Yeah.
We listened to it and we're like, wow, this song literally just says, I want to rock and roll all night for a good 2 minutes straight at one point. We're like, how are we going to make this our song? Should we put in a little solo? Should we change the things up a little bit? So we ended up having to really adapt it to kind of modernize it a little bit, because to our ears it was just weird to think of. We're not just going to record 2 minutes of it doing that. We're not Kiss spitting blood and fireworks and stuff. So we just adapted and kind of made it our own, which was really fun.
Did you find it nerve-wracking covering such a legendary song?
A little bit, yeah. I felt like I wanted to give it justice a little bit, but at the same time, Kiss made it really hard, because it was just so simple, and some of the drums were even off time in the recording. Guitars were a little out of tune. It was just so old school sounding. We just tried to make it new, but without disrespecting the song.
Yeah. Seeing a lot of your fans seem to be in school, whether it's high school or college or even middle school, what's your most embarrassing high school moment?
Embarrassing high school moment. A mixture of before first period my freshman year, this kid I went to middle school with who was a year older than me, I was walking down the hall, and all of a sudden I got pushed into a locker, and I heard him just go, pussy, whatever. I was like, wait, that actually happens? I thought that was just in movies and stuff. I was like, wow, that kind of sucks. And then our first period teacher let us out early from our class, maybe 10 minutes early, because he was super nice. And I walked to my Spanish class, and I opened up the door, and it was a senior class in there right now. And I was like, whoa, am I in the wrong class? They're like, it's still first period. The teacher's like, little freshman, it's still first period. And I was like, oh my god. And then all the seniors, all the kids in the class started yelling at me, going, oh, embarrassing and stuff. I was like, oh my god.
Can you tell me a little bit about the sound of Love Like This?
When I listen back to the record, it really brings me back to that summer when we recorded it, living in that little hotel room that we lived in. And I don't know, it's weird, because it doesn't really have any two songs don't sound the same. They all sound really different, but in that sense of just how different they all sound, it makes sense in that time. When we were working, we were trying to find out how we wanted our band to sound, and the sound of our band, and the voice we had, and what we wanted to kind of portray. And I think the voice of all the lyrics and stuff are all really, really similar and kind of the same, but the songs like are different. Like the vibes of like, you know, Girls Freak Me Out to like Where Are You Now are so different. So I don't know, the sound it's really like eclectic. I think it's all these different kind of musical vibes, kind of the same lyrical sense over it.
How was the band formed?
Me, my brother, and Jess started playing together when I was in 6th grade. I was 11. They were all 13. And we started playing school dances and school battle of the bands and stuff like that. And we did cover songs. And then Zoom 8 years in the future, and different band members left and came all around like us three, and different singers, different singer. Then we got Brian and Josh, and then it just kind of took off from there. And now we're the Somerset.
Did you always know you wanted to play the guitar, or did you play other instruments as well?
Guitar was the first. When we first started the band, it was a really childish thing. We were just like, oh my god, I want to play guitar. I was like, I want to play bass. Just like I play drums. Like we'll play drums, blah blah blah. And once I chose that, I played the guitar. But then started messing around with my brother's bass. Started playing Jess's drums after practice, after school. I think all of us are kind of versatile on every instrument a little bit, just because we learned our instruments together. It was in Jessica's garage. We all had practice every day after school. I'd ride her bus home to her house instead of mine. And we'd all play there and hang out all day. And then when someone would go inside to eat or whatever, I'd go play on Steven's bass. Like I'd play on Jessica's drums. Like kind of all learned everyone's instrument.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for high schoolers wanting to make it in the music industry?
People always ask me, how do you start a band, or how do you get a band signed, or how do you go on tour? And the thing is, it sounds stupid, but you just do it. You just have to start a band. People ask, like, how do you start a band? Well, you just start a band, and then it's like you just have to kind of just get up and take the initiative and, you know, have a little bit of humility and not be afraid to go up on stage and perform and fight that fear, and not be afraid to go out there and flyer to your high school when you're like a little 14-year-old kid. Like I was a little kid in tight girl pants, like walking around high school, handing out Rocket Summer flyers, promoting their show, like one of their first local shows in Arizona and stuff like that. You kind of just got to put yourself out there and be proud of yourself, and be proud of, you know, the project you're trying to start, and, you know, try to push it.
And you mentioned something about like